What's up, guys? How's everyone doing today? This is Johnny. New week. It is Monday, April 20th at 10:30 a.m. in the morning. What we're going to do today is go over another busy weekend, the week that was in our world, the world we live in, the JSB Betting Academy. Wherever you are in the world, I say thank you for tapping in. As you guys are coming through, just like the video, what we're going to do today on this live stream is talk about what happened in our wins and our losses. I'll take your questions. We'll have a little look ahead as well. If you guys are in the Discord, I didn't go live Saturday or Sunday. So we have new JSB insiders. If you joined on YouTube, I just posted the VIP link in the members post section. So click that and you get access to the Discord. To all the Patreons, I woke up. I purposefully didn't tap into our business side of things yesterday. I needed a day off. The English card, by the time Ben Whitaker fought, it was already over when I woke up. And I knew that. And, we had the UFC yesterday, but I just needed to disconnect because we have been foot on the pedal since January in a good way. It's been all positive. And this past weekend was a roller coaster. We hit some great highs. We had some lows. There were some shocking outcomes. Auntie Lonnie, the parlay killer. So we'll get into all of it. But I do want to welcome the newest JSB insiders. We're approaching 500. Hopefully in a perfect world we would get to 500 before May. But I'm not pushing. I'm grateful for where we are, for everybody who's taking advantage of our Discord. It's not just boxing. I'm currently looking at it right now. NBA, Major League Baseball. The Major League Baseball Discord is popping off. Shout out to boxing fan Yuko. We got sharps in the NBA. The playoff season has started. So currently right now there's 62 people actively in our Discord on a Monday morning at 10:30 a.m. So for all the ones out there, it's not just boxing. That is my wheelhouse, and MMA is my wheelhouse. So all pro sports. We're going to get into this. I see everyone tapping in, a couple minutes in. Give me about 5 more minutes. I will go over our wins and losses right now. I will bring them up on the screen. If you're not in our Discord, click that link. It'll be pinned in the comment section. It'll stay pinned in the chat. Okay, let's get into this. So on the screen, you guys are about to see, voila. Okay, so these are just the tickets. I do this every week. If you ever want to see the summary, the write-up of our wins and losses, so full transparency for all the newbies, whether we win or lose, I write it, I'm a writer. So it's one of the things I do as well. I like writing. So it's a little short write-up. We did hit 1, 2, 3, 4. We hit 4 winning tickets with a 5th that's live. So we started our long-term parlay last week. The first fight on that parlay was Alicia Bumgardner. She won. That goes all the way into the July 2nd card. That is a plus 600 ticket. So that ticket is live. But we hit 4 other winners. And guys, if Shadasia Green doesn't lose that fight, we would have hit 6 winners with our long parlay live. That would have been 7 tickets. Who saw that one coming? Nobody saw that one coming. There are lessons here, though. There are lessons here. I mean, it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback when we're talking about Lonnie Daniels, when we're talking about her performance. The game plan, I did not expect that to be her game plan because the girl that fought Clarissa Shields, she was on her bike the entire time. This version, I mean, shout out to her camp, shout out to her corner, shout out to her preparation, shout out to her for executing this game plan. And everybody's talking about what Shadasia Green didn't do, what Shadasia Green looked like, that she didn't look right. No. What we do here is we talk about the proper narrative. Even though I lost out a lot. Those 2 tickets, I'm salty. I am. But the last thing I'm going to do is not give props when they're due. Lonnie Daniels beat the brakes off of Shadasia Green. Lonnie Daniels' game plan on the front foot to outwork her, outpace her. If you're not healthy going into a fight, don't fight. You know what I mean? Fighters can only control what they can control. Lonnie Daniels beat the brakes off of her from pillar to post. So that should be the narrative. That should be the narrative going forward. I don't, hopefully Shadasia Green's healthy, and I guess I heard she's doing better. It's a brutal sport. It's a blood sport. But take nothing away from Lonnie Daniels, even though millions of dollars globally were lost. Millions were lost. I'm salty. But we're not in this. We are in this for the love of the game, and you got it for how high. And then the highs, the highs were high. I kind of wish the highs would have happened before the low, because you know what? And the crazy thing is, my weekend ended on a high with the UFC ticket hitting. So we hit on our. This makes 10 weeks in a row. It might be 11 weeks. This might be 11 weeks in a row of an underdog of the week hitting. Sam Gilley on the money line at plus 185. But the Sam Gilley by stoppage at plus 600 was our crown jewel of the weekend. It's always great when we hit those. I don't know if it was the odds. So much money was coming in on Aston Brown. Hey, when they come in like this, we got to celebrate. It felt good to get that one. The UFC parlay hit. One of the benefits of joining our Discord is during the fights, during the Pro Box card, we smashed Elon De Jesus at plus money. That was a shout out to our group. Shout out to the JSB Discord. When that fight was being announced on my Saturday afternoon, all the boys jumped in on it, and we all hit on that one as well. And I already said, the long parlay is live. A couple of the losses. So the losses that I had, we talked about the 2 tickets with Shadasia. That would have put us at 6, and I was already counting. I was counting my winnings going to that fight. I was like, oh God, I committed a mortal sin, a betting mortal sin. You never. What do we always talk about? You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. And I started doing that, and I never do that. And as I was watching it unfold, my saving grace was my betting app, because it was close the first few rounds. The 5th round, Shadasia Green made an adjustment, and it was like her best round, in my opinion. She was choosing to fight from the outside, and I thought she won round 5. And then round 6, everything fell apart, and I cashed out. I did lose 50%. I didn't lose 100%, which was good. So that was my saving grace. And the only other money line fight that I lost, we lost the Shadasia Green fight, and we lost Nathaniel Collins. And these things happen. I only had Nathaniel Collins on 1 ticket. I only had him on a points decision parlay. I had Collins on points, and I had Alicia Bumgarner on points. So, and this is part of the strategy of betting, which I try to explain to people in all our squad week in and week out, is it's not all winning consistently. Like last week, we won 8 tickets. This week, we won 4 tickets. Should have been 5, including our live. The week before, we had only won 3. The week before that, we had won 9. The strategy of winning consistently is this. Even though I didn't win the Nathaniel Collins bet, I only put him on 1 ticket. And going into this week, because we've had such a massive year, I told you guys all week that it was like a half unit betting week. The most I put on 1 bet was a half unit. I even had quarter unit bets. I had a quarter unit bet, which I never do. It was enough to make me just kind of be interested in the fights. But if you would have said, hey Johnny, which fighter that you have appearing on multiple tickets that you think is going to lose, I would not have said Shadasia Green. I don't think anybody would have said that. I think that Lonnie Daniels shocking win, she was only a plus 400 dog, which the odds makers kind of knew something, but I didn't know anybody in my atmosphere. There was nobody in my orbit that picked Lonnie. Shout out to Boxing Booth in our Discord. He's a Kiwi, and we have some Kiwis in the Discord, and they pick Lonnie. So you got to give credit when credit's due. Auntie Lonnie, the parlay killer. Oh, gross, dude. I shared a message from a couple of my buddies worldwide. I know a guy who lost. He had a $50,000 ticket. He had a $50,000 ticket with Shadasia Green on the money line on it. Oh. Guys, if you ever, that is balls of steel betting 50,000. I don't care what your bankroll is. If you're betting 50K, your bankroll better be $1 million. That's all I'm saying. And even then, like if I'm ever betting $50,000 on anything, my life took a crazy trajectory. You know what I'm saying? Like, if ever I bet $50,000 on anything, something's happened in my life. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but I don't know if my DNA is not wired to bet 50K. That's some people's yearly salary. I mean, some like maybe so. Anyway, we're 10 minutes in. I'm going to leave the floor open to the boys. There's 40 people in here. I wasn't expecting to be 40. We're growing. We're a team. We win together. We lose together. I do want to commend everybody after Shadasia Green lost in the Discord. You could tell the strength of our community because we learn, dude, we're going to learn more about ourselves as a team, as a group, and this is life through our losses. And I always bring it up, and I can't reiterate it enough because it wasn't that long ago to where one of our tickets would lose and you wouldn't want to be in the Discord. It'd be a dumpster fire. And that was just a sign of how unhealthy our group was, and that was my fault. And so we made a lot of changes. And now JSB insiders know that even after a loss, you could still go to the Discord and get conversation. It wasn't toxic at all. It was kind of like a funeral. We had turned it into humor, but humor is much better than turning it into toxicity and negativity. And so I just want to say thank you to the squad because nobody likes to lose, and nobody wants to be around people being super negative after a loss. So that is kind of a testament to what we're growing, and it's always about a team. We win together, we lose together, and we're going to learn more about our who we are on our losses. We don't lose a lot, but when we do, it sucks. But the UFC, I went to bed Saturday. I was like, come on, I need it. Let's just end the weekend on a W. However we get it, even though it wasn't as big of as a return that I wanted. I just knew John. I've watched John Castaneda his whole UFC career. I know that the how skilled he is, the grittiness he brings to the table. He's well rounded. And I watched Mark Volokhin Volokhin got a contract not winning a fight. And I mean, the UFC is a whole different animal. He's an exciting fighter. That's why I picked Castaneda. And then I thought the homeboy, the countryman, Mike Mallet, everybody I speak to in the MMA circles, they speak of Mike Mallet. Canadian MMA always goes back to the glory days, George St. Pierre, those days. And, TriStar in Montreal, what Firas Zahabi has done there with, a legendary team. And they're always kind of like one tweet away from like, who's the next GSP, who's the next guy to carry Canadian MMA. And over the last few years, especially coming out of the pandemic, Mike Mallet used to be a coach. He was just coaching at Team Alpha Mill in Sacramento with Uriah Faber. And he went from a coach to getting an opportunity to compete again. And, the talent really started flourishing. And people have been saying that this guy looks the goods. And he's in his physical prime. He's confident. I mean, minus the one time he got Neil Magny, he's been pretty much good. So that was my reasoning on taking Mallet to beat an aging Gill. Gill was put in there for Mike Mallet to look good. It's exactly what happened. Shout out to Gill for a great career. I think he hung him up after last night. He retired. He had his family in the octagon. Super great dude. Does a lot of work. Talented, great career. I think he might have fought. I don't know if, off the top of my head, did Gill ever get a world title shot? And if not, I know he's gotten, a lot of main events. It's just a testament to a guy's career when you could retire in your late 30s and you're still headlining. So shout out to Gil Burns. Gil Burns is always one of the good guys. I'm going to say what's up to everybody now. I'm going to take the super chats first. My boy Jake with the super chat. Appreciate you, man. Jake Salvador, JSB Insider. Appreciate you with the 50 spot, man. Making my Monday morning coffee taste even better because the boys are here. Appreciate you. Royston. Julius, the sniper, baby, RBS with the knockout. And that's why I'm salty, bro. That was the one. I had RBS on a parlay with Nathaniel Collins, but that's a good eye. and you talked me out of the points and into the knockout on a live stream. So shout out. UFC was pretty good, but fell asleep. Kingdom Life in the house. Kingdom Life in the house. What's up, Cody? Appreciate you. Everyone's tapping in. Yeah, they're not expected to be too busy today, but I will stay on for a normal hour. You guys know every day you'll get at least an hour of me talking. And I am going to do the stats don't lie. It's not a busy week, but we have a lot of fights. We got Australia on Thursday. It looks like a bunch of feeder fights, if you ask me. I'm trying to find us a dog. I don't know if we'll get there. If anything, I see a parlay right now for Australia at like an 87% return, but I'm waiting for props to drop. We got the Maloney boys. Ben Mahoney's fighting too. I know Ben personally. He's a good fighter. He's not a household name, but he's an exciting fighter. And there's going to be money on that card. I'm going to do a Stats Don't Lie video on the big boys, the Pero and Big Baby fight, and I might do Jacob Banks fighting. Jacob Bank is the kid who just fought William Skull and knocked him out and stopped him. Looked pretty good. People really excited about him. I think Jacob Bank might be in the top 10 rankings at middleweight. So I might do a Stats Don't Lie video. I just have to wait for the odds to open up. And we got a lot to talk about. Every week is a new week for us. We talk about our wins and losses on this live stream, and then we immediately turn the page. If you're following me on Instagram, you would have seen the odds already that I posted on my Instagram story of the Australian fights this Thursday. Manny, this is the calm before the Mace. So I just started watching. You guys are going to laugh, but the show came out in 2011. I just started watching Game of Thrones. So I'm on Game of Thrones season 3, episode 2, and they keep saying the winter is coming. The calm before the May storm. May is coming. Calm week, but we got action. We got a calm week, but we got action. I'll bring the odds up too. This is what we do, guys. This is what we do. Like this is why I always talk about it's very important to never get too high and never get too low because it comes in waves. You want to learn to take your wins at an even kill, and you want to learn to take your losses at an even kill. Because if you don't, if you get too emotional, you're going to have a mental breakdown. Shout out to Gary, man. I was watching Gary's live stream. 3D boxing, man. Them cats, he was stressing me out with, he's getting pissed off. Gary's pissed right now. It's good. He's pissed about, he went on a rant about the zone and the cards, and I don't like seeing Gary that frustrated, that stressed out. So I go over to 3D Boxing, support him. I think he's dealing with some issues with YouTube or Google. Green was set up. Also, so Kingdom, you're my boy. Kingdom, I follow you on Instagram. We're linked up. You're a JSB insider. I think because we're linked up on Instagram, your comments popped up all over my feed on a lot of boxing sites. What do you mean by? And it's been consistent. You've said Green was set up. Also, her team released a mini documentary on what she plans on doing for the fight, and Daniel's team picked up on it. So, okay, when you say set up, you're not necessarily talking nefariously. You're talking like they maybe went about it operating a little bit too naively. They gave too much away. Is that what you mean? Another super chat. I want to give a shout out to Mosby, the big fella. JSB Insider here. Shadasia Green losing didn't matter. I went heavy on Gilley knockout plus 450 live bet Lonnie. We still, dude, snipers. We're gonna find. That's why I'm not salty. We hit a plus 600 Gilley by knockout bet. Like that one. Like that's you hit when we hit that. I put my feet up. I told you guys that in the Discord. It followed our narrative all week. I'm gonna so my next post on Instagram is the soundbite of me breaking down on a live stream with you guys how the Gilley Aston Brown fight was gonna go. It went exactly how we saw it. I don't know who made those odds. I have no idea how Sam Gilley, how we got him twice. And that's how confident I was in him. When do you ever see me take a dog? Think about this. When is the last time you saw me take an underdog and that same underdog to win by stoppage? This might have been the first time. Like, we got him here at plus 600, and then there. And look when look when I put the bet in. Look, what date is that? Tuesday? Look when I put this bet in. Last Tuesday, I put that bet in. So I'm not just breaking this stuff down. I'm invested in what we do. So we go to the books and we see Sam Gilley. This dude, I thought he beat Ishmael Davis. And Ishmael Davis is operating at a higher level than Aston Brown. Guys, it's boxing. What have you done for me lately? You're boxing 20 rounds in 8 years? What are we 20 rounds in 8 years? That sounds insane. I just had to pause to check myself to see if I was misspeaking. But no. Aston Brown going into that fight had fought 20 rounds in 8 years. And then if you're following along, you would have also seen this post that I shared in our Discord and on the live stream of Aston Brown's last 3 fights. He knocked out he knocked out 3 guys in the first and second round. And one of the guys had a 9-0 record, another guy had a record like 6-0, and then maybe 12-1. All you have to do, once we're gathering data, we're doing our film study, we're looking at the odds, the next level to that, and I talked to you guys about this, the next level to that is, all right, let's see strength of schedule. Who did these 3 guys who got knocked out in the first round against Aston Brown, who did they fight before the Aston Brown fight? His last fight, the dude was coming off a decision points win over a guy who was 0-9. Why does that matter? Here's why that matters. One of my online clients, he's a Commonwealth Games boxer. He's an amateur. He's going to go pro this year. He's making one last push to become an Olympian. I'm his strength and conditioning coach. I help him a lot with other things as well. We were just talking today. We were talking about the important. I was explaining to him the relevance and the importance of one of the most major important points of how to move a young fighter is who they fight, is the matchmaking. You can't rush a guy. There was an Aussie who was Canelo Alvarez's sparring partner for a few camps in 2019. He was 24-0, or he was 24 years old, undefeated knockout artist, and they put him on the Canelo Alvarez undercard. And he ended up fighting a guy named John Ryder. His name was Bilal Akaway. Bilal Akaway, he was not ready to fight John Ryder. By no means. That fight should have never happened. They rush him. Akaway not only loses for the first time, he gets stopped and never was the same guy. Maybe had 1 or 2 fights since. And that's that. That's a wrap on the career. That was a mismanagement of Bilal Akaway's career. A 24-year-old kid was not ready to fight John Ryder, and somebody wanted to get paid. Now, all this is tied up with when we're looking at prior the Sam Gilley fight. We know who he is. We know who he's fought. You're looking at Aston Brown. You're looking at those last 3 knockouts. Who were they fighting? That's telling us a lot about the matchmaking. That you're pairing up an Aston Brown guy in his last fight against a kid who just fought an 0-9 guy and won on points. That in itself, if we're not able to pick up red flags together, like I'm holding you guys accountable. If I were to take that bet, like something aligned with that, like moving forward, I fully expect one of you guys to pull that up on me. You know what I'm saying? Like if I were going to pick Aston Brown, I fully expect the chat, our team, our Discord, up until fight night, when you find out I'm taking Aston Brown, I fully would have expected you guys to do what I did. One of you, I guarantee, whether it's Mosby, whether it's Kingdom Life, whether it's Rando, whether it's Julius, our whole team is stacked. Barium Boxing, I could go on and on. One of you guys would have said, hey, bro, look at it. Look who he's last fought. Look at their records. So this matters, and this is a lesson to be learned moving forward. Is that is a level of fill. You gotta. If we're betting our hard-earned money, you have to look that deep. You can't just look on the surface. And this obviously we can't predict the future, but when you're looking at red flags like that, that is a big one. Who these guys have been fighting, how active have these guys been, and what have you done for me lately? Plus 600. And then there was another one. This one. This one right here. The Elon De Jesus fight. Elon De Jesus right here was at plus money against a British kid under the age of 25, traveling to America, Connor Attaway. I mean, we're already picking up red flags, right? We think of it's like reverse engineering. We already are hesitant with Brits who are fighting Latin American fighters on British soil as the favorites. We already know that. That's a pattern of behavior we picked up on, right? That's a pattern. You're telling me that when we reverse engineer that then I'm going to pick a Brit traveling to America when the Brit is the favorite against a Puerto Rican fighter, a Latin American fighter? What? That was crazy. And I don't like, and we're doing Monday morning quarterback, and this isn't this was our chat's pick. This is the JSP Discord pick. That fight was not on my radar. I was out grabbing sushi. I was getting ready to go to a concert with my girlfriend. The fights were on. I'm in the Discord, and the boys were like, you need to look at this. Look at this. What do you think? What do you think? Looked at it, spent about 25 minutes on it because we had like an hour before the fight. And then I put my money in, and then I uploaded that ticket to the Discord. I was like, boys, I'm in. My boots are dug in. And, shout out to the chat. That's why you got to join the Discord. I'm just a small percentage of the Discord. The chat is really educated in there. Yo, Johnny, that's our secret weapon, boys. The chat. The Discord is, and once, and we will have our bad apples. Like, guys, we had, let's say we had 12 new guys in there this weekend. I kicked 2 of them out. We have a zero tolerance policy now, and you guys asked for it, and it works well. What's happening is people are sharing our Discord. They'll pay to get in, and they'll come in with some ulterior motive, trying to flex, trying to start chat, trying to spread negativity. And before, my mindset was like, well, they're paying to be here. Now it's like I could pick up, just as we pick up on patterns of behavior of fighters, it's very easily detectable when the newbies come into our Discord if they're trying to to break up our sort of, everyone being copacetic. So now me and our moderators, we have no problem just ban, kick, ban. You know what I'm saying? And it's really helped our team. Jet Hemphill. Green wasn't set up. She was just out of shape. Yeah, she didn't look good. Green did not do her diligence and preps for a high-class fight. This is pro boxing. Yeah, I mean, shout out to, dude, she didn't look good at all. Guys, we're floating between 40 and 60 in here. We're 30 minutes in. I'm going to now turn gears. If you guys still want to ask me questions about this past weekend, I'm going to now bring up the odds for what's in front of us. We have fights that start in 3 days. This is our passion. This isn't a task. We choose to do this. You know what I mean? This is how grateful, this is insane. I saw a meme the other day. I didn't share it. It was like one of those memes. It's like a movie. I think it's like Christian Bale. It's like Christian Bale and William Dafoe. I don't know what movie it is, but they're at like a dance club. And Christian Bale is wearing like a tuxedo. He's younger. And William Dafoe is looking a little bit disheveled. And the meme said, me in the afterlife trying to explain to a guy who got his hand cut off and chained to an underwater boat for stealing a loaf of bread. Me trying to explain to that guy in the afterlife what hitting an 8-leg parlay feels like. And I was like, my algorithm is perfect. We get to do this. If you're not having fun doing this, don't do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, boxing's the greatest sport on earth. What we get to do is, I have just as much fun doing the research than I do watching the fights. I don't know if that I think that if you enjoy the dog hustle, if you enjoy the research, if you enjoy the film, if you really enjoy the sport of boxing, this part of the week, like Julius is giving me a fighter name, I'm going to pull the odds up. We're going to get into this. And then all week, we're going to have this debate on what we see, this to me is the juice. I get more out of this than I do watching the fights, which sounds insane. By the time the fights come on, my feet are already up. We've already done our work. It's stressful, but this is the fun bit. And so just wanted to shout out to Julius. I'm going to bring up these odds. So I know that early week in Australia, I sometimes have to use Bet365, but we'll see. Sometimes sports bet, they don't. I don't know if I remember seeing this fight. I'll check Bet365 too. Okay, so these are the odds for this week. This isn't these first few on Thursday night. So Thursday in Australia will be Thursday night. I think it's your Thursday morning or maybe Wednesday night in America. These are what we call feeder fights. These are all A sides generally. All A sides generally, and then maybe one or two of these domestic level 50-50 fights. Where we make our money on these cards is predicting that where is that 50-50 fight at. And I've already been on the phone. I've sent some messages out about a couple of these fights. But Akuso should win. McIntyre should win. Ben Mahoney's the kid I was telling you about. Ben Mahoney, very good puncher, MMA guy, and a boxer. He's had a good sports career. He's just waiting for an opportunity to break through into the mainstream. He's one of these guys who lives in the gym, stays ready, always fit, always in shape, and it's good to see him getting featured on this card. Connor Wallace, you should know him. Jason Maloney. So, yeah, no props yet. But, we already got 5. There's already 5 fights on the books. That's sports bet. Samake versus Hadrabej. Samake should win that fight. Jacob Bank, we're going to take a prop on that. He should stop him. Lawrence Okoli should dominate against Yoka. Nishant Dev should knock out. Dude, there's a lot of money. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. Just looking up these fights on Jump, I'm already more excited than I was about last week. As long as we get props, we're going to make money on this week. Alan Chavez versus Miguel Medueno. Chavez is an Argentinian fighter. I've watched Chavez fight a couple different times. I think Chavez might be 26. One of these Argentinian records, they're like 24-0 with like 22 knockouts. It's like, oh, okay. And so you always have to be cautious. Miguel Medueno is the type of guy, every time he's stepped up, things have not gone his way. Keyshawn lost, Oscar Duarte. So I think those odds might be a little wide, though. Almost plus 600 is a bit insane. So I'm going to put a little bit of an asterisk there. Rojas versus Sosa. Okay, here we go. Shout out. Angel Barrientos versus Isaac. So these odds are already good. Mike from Melbourne. What's up, Mike from Melbourne? How you doing? We're already... if anybody has any questions about this past weekend or, you want your 2 cents, something we either agreed on or disagreed on, you could comment and I'll bring you on. But as you know, like we do in typical JSB fashion, we're already turning the corner. We spent the first 30 minutes on this live stream talking about this past weekend. Now we're already working. So I'm going to bring up the box rec on Angel Barrientos. Angel Barrientos. Oh, we've seen him fight before. 14-1, 23 years old. Tall for the division. 5'10", 72-inch reach, bantamweight. Long. Young kid. Who do you get stopped by? Early days. First pro fight. No, my bad. 1, 2, 3. He got stopped in his 4th pro fight against Travin Lawson. Lawson's 6-0. One of these can't get fights. Hasn't had a fight in 2 years. But when was that fight? He got stopped against Lawson. Wow, 6 years ago. He was 17 years old. Wow, his only loss was when he was 17. I like it. Let's see his opponent though, Isaac Garcia. This has firefight written all over it. Box trick with these pop-ups drive me insane, guys. What are we doing here? Yeah, this has 18-0, 12 knockouts, 22-year-old. I gotta watch a little bit of tape on that. Yoka's never impressed me. Talking lost when inexcusable. Yeah, Yoka's a guy we know about his amateur career, Olympian. Had a lot. People thought he was the next dude up, man. What is it about that heavyweight division to where, like, I think we see it more with heavyweights more than any other division. Fighters who seem like they have all of the boxes ticked, but then it's their mental, their mindset, the psychology that gets the best of them. Maybe it's because the heavyweight division is more like elevated, or we put more energy on it. But think about the list of heavyweights over your whole life, 20 years. Guys quitting on the stool, guys mid-round, crying, guys having meltdown. Like, it's always like that heavyweight division. Tanaka, Jin Sasaki versus Tanaka. Is there a Japanese card? I'm going to pull up the Bet365 odds in a second. We got a fight night coming in Perth. Yeah, my boy Jackson John England. I'm friends with him. That's a great fight, dude. Jackson John England. Look at versus Auerbach. This is a really good fight. So I'm excited for John. I've interviewed him multiple times. He's been on the channel multiple times. Really good dude. Really classy fighter. Really good guy outside of the ring too. Stand-up dude. His grandfather, Jackson John England's grandfather, used to travel Australia in tents. He was a bare knuckle tent boxer, like in the mid 1900s. So his lineage is boxing for sure. I watched him on PBC time. My brother was supposed to be somebody. Angel Calito. Anyone know how I can bet on these Australian cards if I'm in New York? Yeah, Angel, let's go either VPN or it should be, or Bet US. There you go. Fresh BX is helping you out. Shout out to the chat. I'm going to pull up Bet365 real quick. All right, boys. So this is a different betting app. This is Bet365 in Australia. So yeah, Austin Acuso. All right, there's already more fights. Christopher Riley, Connor Wallace, Xavier Fletcher versus Sabanda. Fletcher's easy money here. Max McIntyre, easy money. Ben Mahoney, easy money. Jason Maloney, easy money. So what are we doing here? Let's see something real quick. So we go 1. Okay, Jason Maloney. 1. I'll do it from my phone. I just want to see what that adds up if we add it on a parlay, just real quick. Okay, so Bet365 has the full card up right now. Right now, I don't see. There's a few. I'm going to play a couple knockout props, but I assume they're not up yet. Right now on the money line, 4-legger. These are all feeder fights. 71% return. Like Xavier Fletcher, Max McIntyre, Ben Mahoney, Jason Maloney. Those 4 guys are going to win. It's 71% return right now. So I don't know if we wait. I don't know if we want to. What we're gonna have to do is probably get. I might use those four as part of a long parlay for the week. We'll see how we do this. Let's see if props are up. No props up here. I would play the Connor Wallace by knockout. Aston, yeah, props aren't up yet. Nope. How about that Xavier Fletcher fight? Nope. Props will release in a couple days. Sometimes they drop early. Jason Maloney, Andre Donovan. All right. Props aren't up yet. We expected that. That's to be expected. Yeah, Jason, Max, Xavier, Ben. That's right. That's right. Which is fine. 72%. That's what my book is showing. Yours is showing 67, which is fine. 57%. It's going to be interesting to see points props and stoppage props, and that'll probably be the move. We just got to see if are they all 10 rounders. We got some work to do. There's definitely money to be made. Let's look up past Australia now. So that's Thursday. We're gonna make money on Thursday. What I might do is go half unit Thursday, take what we hit on that Thursday, and then flip that to go full. I'll let you guys know. Okay, and then we got Bakary Samake versus Hadrabaj, plus 400. Samaki's the heavy favorite there, rightfully so. Lorente, Yoka, yeah, that's the Okoli odds are probably going to go down. So $1.30. I mean, we like doing things a bit early here. People don't look if people are complaining on the way we operate in our group, and they're complaining online in other social media platforms that we don't exist on. Like I don't have an X account. I'm not on Twitter. I guess people get salty about when we do this day in and day out, especially earlier in the week when we go over the odds. And I see something like we saw every week, and I tell you to jump on it early. People don't like that. But if I assume the Lawrence Okoli odds are definitely going to go down. $1.30 isn't shit, but I don't expect sharp money coming back on Tony Yoka. Yeah, I don't expect that at all. We got some work. This is the interesting one. So I'm going to tape this. You know what? I'm going to do a Stats Zone Live video on this, Julius. Shout out to Julius for let me know about this. So this is the Barrientos fight. This will be my first breakdown. I'll do this. This will be uploaded tomorrow. Barrientos versus Garcia. I'm going to have to try to find tape on the boys. Both good records. One's 22, one's 23. Looks like a 50-50 fight. I'd like to get your feedback on why you think Barrientos, you like Barrientos there. Samake knockout. Yeah, dude, we got a sharp-ass group, man. This is the best sport in the world. We're on a Monday morning. We're on a Monday morning talking about Samake by knockout. Love it. Fresh BX. You looked at the other Australian fights on the 29th with Sky. Are they showing BX on your book? Is that the Jake Wiley card? Jake Wiley. Yeah, we got so many fights. Andrew Hunt. Dude, this Andrew Hunt, Benjamin Hussein is... Don't sleep on this fight, mate. Andrew Hunt is the kid who came in. He had a stellar amateur career, took some years off. He's the dude who knocked out in his last fight. He was an underdog, and he knocked out the kid who just fought last weekend in Australia. His name is slipping my mind. But Ben Hussein is a legit domestic. A little bit. I think Ben Hussein's a little bit better than domestic. He could punch. He's gritty. This is a fun fight, man. I think Ben Hussein's live as hell here. At plus 200. I think Ben Hussein could beat, we'll see. I don't want to get too plus 200 is insane to me. Ben Hussein's definitely the more experienced guy. He's been more active. I know he was injured I know he's a big dude for the division. He always wants to fight. I like his style too. And if I remember it correctly, Ben Hussein has looked good in his most recent form. So that's a fun fight, man. And both guys can punch. I think Hunt might be a little bit tighter in his techniques, but that's a fun fight. Jake Wiley versus Zalewski. I call Jake Wiley the king of one gear, which is fine. If Jake Wiley had a second gear, or like he just needs some spice to him. Maybe Jake needs to go to Robert Garcia's camp. I always want to send. I always want to send these fighters from Australia to America. Like, go see, some of the boys out west. Not and RGBA is just on the top of my mind because I watch his podcast. I was just watching, and but Coach Robles. Go see Coach Robles in the U.S. Go out west somewhere. But yeah, Jake, the heart and grit and willingness is there, but he just needs levels. There needs to be like, it's like his character, his avatar. You need to buy some stuff for his armor, or you need to. And I'm not a gamer. I assume like you could in gaming you could have a character, and you could buy things to make your character level up. I think Jake needs some leveling up, but he's young enough to do that. Terramona. Again, a 19-1 favorite. Like this is what's gonna happen though with Terramona. And then Sky Nicholson, Mariah Turner. Shout out to Mariah Turner for getting a world title fight. But I mean, this just goes to show you how lean, how scarce the global heavyweight division is, and also how good Terramona is. We've been saying all along we want to see this guy in at least 5-1 fights. And like, can we get? I've never seen one of his fights that was below 9-1. Every fight is like 18-1. This one's 20-1. Last time he fought in New York, it was like 15-1. I mean, the dude is legit. He's marketable. He's good on the mic. He's talented. He's fast. He's big. It's really going to be how they move him, how they manage his career, which is really important. I want to see what Okoli weighs in. Why is he coming to? Hey, he's 6'6" though. That's a big boy. I think what we're gonna see is they do Okoli beats Yoka, and then we finally get to see Okoli versus the Midnight Train. A decade or like maybe 5 years too late, but hey, it would sell, especially what the Midnight Train just looked like last week. A prop that we hit. We've been doing on the down low. We've been good. We've been good. Every week we good. We still good. Good week of boxing. Yep. That Crucible live bet series. Big Shadow, you boys. See, the reason why my hands are always tied on the live betting like this, because if it's going against my pick, it would just be a bad look if all of the Nathaniel Collins bettors, I picked Nathaniel Collins to win. Crucible clearly won that fight. I love that the chat during the live fights that you guys do, that we win money. You could see how, like, I cashed out. My version of that is seeing where the Shadasia Green fight was trending, and I cashed out. I lost 50% of what I was going to make, but I still kept 50, which I'm super happy with. But you see why I couldn't, even as that fight is trending. And I thought Collins might have won the 12th round. I gave Collins the last round, actually. It would be a bad look if everybody on Patreon, everybody on YouTube, everybody in our Discord knows that I took Collins and then I live bet Lorente. Like, you guys would have no respect for me. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do that. But I love that I love that. Now, I do, if I didn't have action on that fight, if I didn't give away a ticket, if I didn't put the Nathaniel Collins parlay together on our Patreon, that I would have seen that. But the knockdown early, and then it was Collins' body language the second half of that round after the knockdown. Like, when could you guys ever remember a fight in which the fighter who lost, his downside came after he dropped his opponent. Like, it was, the first 3 rounds was exactly what I thought it would look like. Tit for tat, tit for tat. It looked like it was going to heat up and boil into what the first one was. And then Collins separates himself and gets this sort of flash knockdown, which is like with like 2 minutes left in that round. And then that knockdown seemed to propel Lorente into a different gear. And then from that point onwards, after Lorente got dropped, Collins kind of disappeared. He looked like he was in trouble at that end of that same round. It was his body language. It was a weird one for me. But then he came on. He's looking at his corner. It almost looked like he was stuck in the mud. Maybe the camp. I'm just trying to play Monday morning quarterback, not making excuses, but talking about this outcome. Maybe training was too hard. Sometimes it is a thing to overtrain. It is a thing to spar too much. We do know that he went to America and got some really hard, good sparring rounds in with some really high level pros. And so that's the thing. And he came on decent late. I gave him the 12th, but those scorecards were atrocious. One of the judges gave it 116 to 111 to Nathan. That was crazy to me. I was like, we about to get a gift. I was like, Give a. Can I get a gift? Can we get this? Dude, that would have been the best, right? Because right before that we got the Gilley knockout. I knew we couldn't get that gift. I didn't want to see Lorente robbed like that either. You see, Callan Peters, but yeah, I posted this. I posted this in the Discord. Yeah, it's in the Discord. So, dude, that's a tough fight, man. Joe Sean James his only loss was he got stopped against Lester Martinez. Joe Sean and Callan Peters is supposed to be that guy at 6 fights. I think Joe Sean has 12 fights, maybe 11 fights. Callum has 6 fights, 7 fights. If Callan Peters is who people think he is, this is a really tough fight. Shout out to the matchmaking. Guys, I'm always suspicious, though, on step-up fights with Aussie fighters fighting Americans in their step-up fights. This is a tough fight for Callan Peters. We are going to see if 50 Cal is going to live up to that nickname. This is a sleeper good fight, guys. Callan Peters versus Joe Sean James is I'm excited about that fight. I'm breaking down that fight. I'm taking Ben on that head excably. Ben Hussein? The midnight train is going in. The midnight train got us paid, boy. The midnight train got us paid, boy. We would totally understand, bro. We all trying to be up at the end of the day. That call and shit sounds. That call. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're referring to on my betting apps, the ones I use, and I think it's an Australian thing. If we want a live bet, I have to call a human. I have to press a. What's up, mate? Yeah, I want Lorente. All right, how much? I ain't doing all that. That adds just another level of depravity for me. So my boots, psychologically, my boots are dug in. I guess some of you guys, your apps allow you to just hit a button. If I was allowed to hit a button, I could see. But then it wouldn't look good from. Yeah, for the fight fan, because I know there's guys who pay who just follow whatever I do. And so they don't even watch the fights. And then they'd be like, hold up. How'd he win on Lorente? He told me to pick call. Like, that would cause chaos. To stop yourself from losing money, you better lie bet if the odds are good. Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. My crystal ball was right. I had crystal ball. Great hit. What'd that get you? Plus 350? Plus 400? He just looked like he had more in the tank. Shout out to, who do we see? Sander Martin. Sander Martin's in his corner. Comes from a good camp. Always prepared. Spanish fighter. Energy, gas tank, volume. I mean, what does that style look like against Shushu Carrington? Because that's the next thing. That was for Collins at home to have an opportunity to fight for a world title and to come out not at his best, like that, it was a bit of a head scratcher. It almost, you don't want to say it wasn't an effort. It looked like he didn't have anything left. It looked like when he was trying to dig, it wasn't there. And Lorente's counters were on point too, man. Every time, and like I don't like how Collins moves on the center line. Like, he'll drop a level and hit to the body, and rather than, he doesn't add to his combos. He doesn't build on them. He kept like rounds 1 through 4, he kept level changing and sticking to the body, but then he would exit on a straight line with his head in the air and his hands down, and Lorente was countering him every single time. And they were almost playing this I go, you go, I go, you go, but whatever the judges see, whoever goes last, whoever hands the receipt out is going to score that exchange. And Lorente was getting the better of almost every single exchange, except when he got dropped. And that's not what the first fight looked like. The first fight, and it looked like Collins was hesitant to punch with Lorente in the pocket as well, which was, now that sometimes is a psychological thing, because you have to really believe in your punches. You have to really believe in yourself to do that in the middle of a fight. Not all guys do that. You don't see, there's guys who become world champions without punching with their opponent. You know what I'm saying? But Collins finds his success punching with his opponent, and he was limited on that end as well. His game looked a fraction of what it was the last time we saw him. So I don't think it would be psychologically. Maybe I don't know. I'd like, it'd be interesting what comes out. These camps are usually generally mum when it comes to these sort of things. But he was in his backyard. He was in Scotland. Opportunity to fight Shushu Carrington, and he kind of had a performance like that. The record books will say it was a split decision loss, but it should have been unanimous for sure. Even with the knockdown, he lost that round. So that knockdown round was a draw, a 10-10, a 10 must. I think boxing's a 10 must point scoring system. It is. So you go 10-8, and then you lose the round 9-9. But that the 10 must, it's a bit confusing. Collins clearly won the first fight. Lorente won the second. Yeah, I don't want to see a third. Which fight you looking most forward to this week? Probably right now off the top, Barrios versus Garcia. Barriente versus Garcia. So this kid is 18-0. This is currently a 50-50 fight. I think Rojas Garcia is a slight dog here against Barrientos. He's 22 years old. Barrientos is 23. Isaac is 18-0 with 12 knockouts. Barrientos, I think, is 14-1. This is a really fun fight. Yeah, Angel Barrientos at the Fontainebleau in Vegas. This is going to be a firefight. It looks like it's Rojas' first fight in America. Yep, TJ. This is his moment to shine. And this is Barrientos. Hawaiian kid fights at, they call Las Vegas the seventh island. The ninth island, right? How many Hawaii? I'm not a Hawaii expert. I just know that when BJ Penn was coming up in the UFC and Max Holloway, them Hawaii boys would always talk about Las Vegas. There's a big Hawaiian, Polynesian combat population in Vegas. It's a fun fight. So probably that one. They should have gave Gilbert a decent win opportunity and fed him to the Sharks. Look, MMA is brutal like that. MMA is a young combat sports is a young man sport. You got to understand too, is that even with organizations like the PFL, I mean, one championship isn't doing well. Bellator's obviously been bought out, turned into PFL. The UFC is, and for the foreseeable future, is the monopoly, right? So it's not like by the time you make it to the UFC, there are no easy fights. Generally speaking. He got that main event money though. At least they gave him a main event money. That he's been in the league for a long time. I didn't see the purses. Hopefully he made over 200K. I don't know, for main eventing and promotional stuff. I don't know. Hopefully he made a nice little bag. He's a legend though, dude. I mean, who fought? He most notably gave Khamzat Chimaev his most difficult fight. He dropped Chimaev. Like, that was a 50-50 fight going in the end. And, we know about Gilbert's world-class grappling and jiu-jitsu, but Gilbert could crack. And so that, it just shows you how high level he's been at a high level for a long time. Damian Sosa fight, break it down. I didn't see, is the Sosa fight on our card? Austin Akuso. Freddie Rojas, Damian Sosa. All right, I'll put that in my notes. Rojas versus Sosa. Done. It's because he knows he clearly won the first fight. He maybe thought he didn't have to change. I thought he did change though. He wasn't as determined. That's what it was. Nathaniel Collins wasn't as determined as we're used to seeing him. Even before that, go back to the Lee McGregor fight. He was an underdog, or on the cards, it was the odds had that as a 50-50 fight, Lee McGregor, and Nathaniel Collins fought with just a certain veracity to him. He was missing that. It was kind of confusing. And even in between rounds, his corner's trying to talk him up. He kind of was like, I don't know. Anyway, Benavidez' decision looking like the move. Yeah, Benavidez going up to, he's going up to cruiser now. First fight at cruiserweight. Look, you always got to be cautious on fighters when they're moving up a weight class and they're in that new division at a heavier weight class for the first time. It's always kind of like a feeling out process. So I think points with Benavidez is the right move. With Junto is coming up from 18 to 22. Nakatani is probably going to, what is he, 4-1 dog right now? The thing is, though, Nakatani, I might play the knockout there. I don't know. Junto gets hit a lot. I'm hella excited for Benavidez fight week. Anyway, fighting. Okay, so everyone likes the points here. We'll see. I'm pretty surprised Collins lost. Same. Hawaii is just a breeding ground for MMA fighters. Yeah, you got the fly. Who's the kid from former boxing world champion? His nickname was the Flying Hawaiian, Valoria, and his nephew Justin Valoria, is currently, I think, fights a lot with Pro Box. Sorry, someone interrupted my smoko. Yeah, thinking of taking Ben Hussein on that one. Followed him a bit. Do you know where the full fight Andrew Hunt? Yeah, that was the Munir Fatih. We watched that fight. Andrew Hunt's, he was the underdog too, and he's. You think Nishadev yeah, I do. Guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. Stay tuned. You guys are the best. We got fights in a couple days. We got a lot of work to do. Join the Discord, support the channel, however you can do. I'll see you in the next one.